Over the past few weeks, you may have seen FaZe all over Twitter and maybe haven't been able to keep up with all the drama and recent changes with FaZe Clan. From kicking close to 100 members ranging from people that have spent half their lives in the organization, to members who I'm sure I have to remind you were even signed to FaZe at one point. With tweets from the Trickshot Network and other members in the Trickshot community that FaZe Clan originated in, have shown that a ton of people highly disagree with the route FaZe is taking, or at least people are very skeptical by what FaZe has been doing since Banks stated that he gained control over the FaZe Clan Twitter and other socials. With Banks doing this, it came along with 3 members within the last few weeks, and a lot of people wouldn't have guessed they would have joined FaZe since they're not primarily gamers or trickshotters. Before mentioned, kicking an entire roster of members and only giving out bits of information at a time has left fans wondering what FaZe can do to revive itself. But from the looks of it, there seems to be a certain time frame / moment where FaZe went from one of the top gaming organizations to a downfall, consisting of an astronomical amount of things that could be considered blemishes on this once before thriving team. So when was this moment? In 2010, FaZe Temperrr left FaZe for about a week or so before becoming the overall owner and leader of FaZe once he took the channel.
And he put out a video, Tommy Temperrr has gone crazy. He hacked the channel and he's taken over FaZe. But at the time, like, Tommy was the only one, he was holding it down. Like, they didn't do anything.
That's just how it was.
They didn't do anything. Tommy was just like the guy.
People were ready to leave with me, and I was like, nah, bro, we're not gonna abandon this ship. Like, no. Like,
thank God.
By the way, there was like,
thanks, brother.
Yeah.
Dude, for a day I left, and I'm like, the next day I woke up, I'm like, nah, f that. I'm logging in this shit.
He ended up taking access from the other FaZe leaders at the time. By the way FaZe Temperrr talks about it, he seems to imply that the other FaZe members at the time were more inactive, so he took over the job of doing everything on the YouTube. And the way that FaZe Clips speaks on it, well, it definitely seems like he's a little bitter, at least by this clip.
People weren't agreeing on certain things, so one day, I guess FaZe Temperrr wakes up and he decides to change the password on the YouTube channel and change the email. So now he is the only one who has complete control over the YouTube channel and complete access. It's all him now.
Nah, f that. I'm logging in this shit.
And none of us had a choice in any of that. He just woke up one day and did that, decided to do that. I guess he had a disagreement with the other 2 founders that had nothing to do with me. I just woke up one day and I was like, oh my God, what happened? That's how Temperrr, the owner, has control over FaZe Clan. So that can kind of answer you guys' question, I guess, on how, even though I'm a founder, I was able to be kicked because early on I kind of lost that ownership status. It was taken from me.
Hindsight 2020, I do think Temperrr doing that was a good push for FaZe. I think FaZe would be nowhere near as big as it is now if Temperrr wasn't the head leader. Because of this, FaZe Clan managed to thrive as one of the biggest names in the gaming space, transcending your average gaming fan base. Fast forward 10 years and FaZe is one of the most recognizable names inside and outside of the gaming space with some of the biggest and most talented esports teams, along with creators who are very well respected in the gaming space.
I don't know about you guys, but if I was one of the founders of FaZe, I would be depressed. I mean, imagine you and your friends get together, you create a clan, and then stuff happens and you're no longer a part of the clan, and then 5 years go by, and you look up the clan you started with your friends back when you were 15 on YouTube, and you see that that clan is worth literally millions upon millions of dollars, and you see that some of the members like FaZe Rain, FaZe Apex, FaZe Adapt are all making, over 6 figures a year. You have this competitive team and all this stuff, and you have no hand of it. All the founders of FaZe have no part in FaZe anymore, and that is sad, man. Just imagine that. You're 15, you and your friends create a clan, and then you somehow, leave the clan, and then 5 years later, you find out that that clan you made when you were 15 is worth $16 million.
Also, FaZe Temperrr's response to the way Clips got kicked was a little funny.
Yeah, kicking a founder of FaZe is crazy too. How it buns, bro, like I love Clips to death, and Clips is someone that
I think I'm out after that one. Okay.
I brought back into FaZe, you know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure.
But
I got my premiere.
like, we're not keeping people that don't make sense for the, like, we gotta keep this exclusive again, you know? Doesn't mean that he's not a legend of the brand and someone that, is deeply respected and admired and loved, you know what I'm saying? But we can't be keeping people just because of their emotions and their, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how it works. Otherwise, we would have kept Fakey too, you know what I mean?
But this all changed about 2 years ago with a crypto scam. Many people might remember Save the Kids, so I won't get into it, but it was a scam that resulted in FaZe K getting kicked and became a lot deeper and more scummy as people dove into the details. So as that is a crucial part in the lore that made FaZe kind of go downhill, we can look past that for now since there's so much more new information that's come to light that's way more relevant to what we're talking about in this video. To really pinpoint the moment that things took a turn, we have to look at when FaZe Clan decided to go public with the brand. It seems like you could point to FaZe Banks and FaZe Rain also for their flawed past and, kind of influencing the way fans see FaZe. But overall, in my opinion, I don't think that was the main focus for when FaZe Clan took a turn, since a lot of fans were so devoted and those little mishaps in their lives weren't something that people focused on. They decided to have people invest into the company so that they could be publicly traded. Before going public, they were valued close to $1 billion as a brand. What this means is they gave investors a percentage of the company, and from the way all the original members talk about it, it seems like it was primarily a way for investors to take advantage of a bunch of wealthy, ignorant, for the lack of a better word, naive, young adults who thought they could put their trust into these investors. But sadly, this seems to be where a lot of the problems stem from. We see around this time that FaZe Tico, after already being fundamentally screwed over by the before mentioned Save the Kids crypto scam, invested thousands of his own money just to lose it all and be in the same conversation when people bring up that before mentioned crypto scam. Also, within the past 2 years, he's been taken advantage of by these new shareholders, and from what he's posted on his own channel, it seems like even the original members don't necessarily have it better, but not as bad as him.
Someone who's been a member for 12 years, to get anyone's attention, to be taken seriously, is crazy to me. I've tried to solve this privately for years. For fucking years. The fact that I care this much and I'm not even a real owner. Everyone has made it very clear that I'm not an owner and I'm not even near any of the top dogs and I don't matter for shit. You've showed me over and over and over again that I do not mean shit to you.
Also, FaZe Seabass seems to be on bad terms with a lot of the original FaZe members by how they talk about him.
Today we got FaZe Seabass speaking out about the FaZe situation, which I find crazy because, again, you guys know me, I'm going to always keep it 100. I have not had the best relationship with this man for a very long time because I do believe wholeheartedly that you are part of the problem and why FaZe has been dying and why everything bad that has happened to FaZe has happened. You've been compliant with every single person that has tried to hurt FaZe and to sell FaZe out and make money off FaZe, and you've done it for a salary and a position in FaZe that you feel comfortable with. You have a full office in Toronto where you get to hire whoever you want and have full control of it, and it's boosted your ego, the one that you've had since 2012. You're reliving your ego, and this entire thing is a power trip for you to maintain control in the company.
In my opinion, by Tico speaking out the way he did, it really brought to light everything that was going on, along with FaZe Rain, who was also around the same time period whistleblowing and a lot of things going on in the business side of FaZe Clan, or I should say like corporate side. Between FaZe Rain exposing Seabass for playing both sides with trying to please the corporate side while still being on good terms with the original FaZe members, FaZe Tico talking about how his shares were practically taken from him and a few other members being more vocal made the fans start to notice. If you don't know, the New York house where the FaZe members originally lived did have vlogging and also had gaming as like a primary focus. If you don't know, the New York FaZe house was where FaZe Banks, Blaziken, Rain, Temperrr, Tico, Apex, and Adapt all lived together and did vlogs along with Call of Duty content. They would have other FaZe members visit. It was actually really wholesome. To a lot of fans, this was like the golden age of FaZe Clan, and a lot of people think that without this age, it wouldn't be as big as it is today. But what's really odd to me is that FaZe Banks has a vision to bring in content creators with the same overall vision as him, but not necessarily gamers. Which again, I think is kind of odd because when they did a FaZe Clan live stream, aka reality show, it did terrible, beyond terrible. To be fair, I don't think that was Banks' idea and it was on Snapchat, but it's still FaZe and the content could have been pushed on other socials and not have it done so poorly. To give credit where credit is due, I think FaZe Banks does have a good eye for talent. He does have this tweet where he talks about these 3 people in particular that he's kind of scouted before they blew up. And while I do honestly believe a majority of what he's saying in that he believes a majority of what he's saying, at the same time when he kicks people from FaZe that have been in the team for years and also members I feel personally fit well in the overall theme of FaZe Clan, no real explanation except for, I want to make it smaller, trust us. It seems to ring hollow for people who already see the changes being made as a step in the wrong direction. I'm not completely a fan of Banks playing both sides either. On one hand, it's I'm a crazy MW2 OG sniper like with this tweet involving Nadeshot. Since it seems like Nadeshot still games, Banks doesn't, it's hard to believe that there's actually ever gonna be a chance that they 1v1 like that. The fact that Nadeshot still games and streams it is kind of funny and Banks just doesn't, but at the same time I really don't think they're ever gonna 1v1 legit. even though they keep hyping up saying that they're going to. I could be proven wrong. I just think it's gonna blow over. I don't think they're actually gonna do it. But this again, I think Banks really is playing both sides. He wants the ride or die trickshot fanbase that FaZe originated in. At the same time, he wants people to trust when he kicks all the original FaZe trickshotters. And not just trickshotters, like FaZe Sensei has been there since the beginning and he got kicked. There's a few other members that are more notable that got kicked than Sensei, but I just think that was a weird choice to kick him in particular. Anyway, I do think Banks is playing both sides, where on one hand he wants the trickshot fanbase to be on his side, on the other hand he wants everybody else that's not into trickshotting to trust that the content that's on the way is going to be more focused on entertainment. Along the way of becoming public, they recruited a streamer named Grace Van Deen, which didn't exactly fit into the FaZe Clan brand, and overall a lot of people were like surprised she didn't go with 100 Thieves. It seemed like she had a lot more friends in that organization and didn't necessarily have an interest in joining FaZe, which made the community see this as some weird marketing push, especially with FaZe Clan's Twitter tweeting beforehand, "We want to see more girls in FaZe," then immediately recruiting a girl that wasn't grinding for the team, while there's a ton of girls who probably deserved it a lot more and could have filled that spot a lot better. I think this really helped in setting the turning point for FaZe. When it comes to recruits like FaZe Snoop, Lil Yachty, and Kyle Murray were definitely odd picks. I think what happened was they're famous enough where people saw it as less of a marketing play to appeal to the fans and more of an obvious play of, oh, you're famous, we're famous, you're in. Which Banks has spoke on, but he also mentions that it shouldn't be this way anymore. It's really hard what to believe, especially with the people being kicked. A lot of them have attributed so much to FaZe Clan. It's really hard to believe Banks when he says, just trust us in the plan and the process, when there's really no, like, for sure, okay, we're keeping this, like, collective of people, because pretty much everybody in the kept, it's very random. I don't think anybody would have expected like, half people to get kicked the way they did. I, along with a lot of FaZe fans, hope they can revive themselves at this point. With the way the members talk about it, it seems like this is the last opportunity to regain an active fan base.